That song. That's the song I hear every time when I'm reading his interview. Kishimoto. I don't know why, but so many of interviews always differs from another. Always contradicting. Always making me think, why can you not plan this better? Okay. Enough of that song. This is episode 35 of Sparda's World Podcast. Sparda 3G, as always. I have posted my first review on anime review. I have my subblogs. Officially have a subblog. I'll leave the link in here, as well as I'll leave the link to that first review. The first review, well, you'll find out yourself. You may like it, you may dislike it, you may not agree with me, you may agree with me, whatever the case may be. Do check it out. I will appreciate you guys to read up on my series, my manga anime review. Manga review is ongoing construction right now. I'm still haven't made the facts. And of course, in the anime section, there's the actual facts that tells you how my review works and how it's structured. And how it works. Don't do numbers. If you don't like the fact I don't do numbers, well, I'm sorry, but that's just the way I work. So you have to excuse me for that. Do check it out. It's gonna be. Well, I can't say it will happen every week, but it will happen a lot of. It will be ongoing. It will happen. Many times, I'm just saying it won't be a long delay, like, one review, next month, another review, 4 months, another review, but I can't say next week, review, another week, review, more like, it probably won't have that much of a consistent time. It's my first one, and it took me a while. It took me a while because, I try to understand which is the best format, and I think I found the best format. If you don't like the format, try to comment me to my official page and leave the ask. And yes, this is the Tumblr. It's the only way I can use it, or it's the best place I can use it. Because I know there's other sources, other website, but maybe I'm not just a fan of it, or maybe I just don't like the fact that I have to give the number. So you do check it out, and hopefully you like it. What is it that with anime or manga series that's getting their movies in live action form, or just movie itself? But mainly in the live action form. I don't know what's up with that, right? Well, not just movies, but even TV. Apparently, we have another one that's coming up in the TV adaptation. That's Prison School. That's the one that's on the ongoing anime right now. I have not seen it. I know there's a manga, of course, because what else it would come from? The only thing I ask myself, I know there's one character that is like pretty much a grand fan service for the guys, and it only begs the question, who in the right mind will play that role, and who can fit the requirement of that role. I'm not even going to that detail. You just have to see the image yourself, and you will know exactly who I'm talking about. Anyway, speaking of live action, we actually have the Attack on Titan on theater right now. He's at the theaters. The live action part 1 and part 2 supposedly come out next month. Yeah, because why not? And supposedly it did pretty good for the box office wise. It started off with about 600 million yen. And yeah, that's pretty much good news for them. I don't know if the movie's good. Who knows? I really don't. I do care because I do want to check it out myself. I don't expect grand thing. I don't expect something great. Even if it's like seeing this as an independent film, I'm just going to see it because I guess I'm just a sucker. The fact that it has the title Attack on Titan, so yay! I fell for the trap hole. But still, I'm going to check it out myself anyway. If it's good, if it's bad, whatever. At least I will see it myself, and I'll give you the opinion one day. Also, there's a lot of movies talking about. Actually, this thing is going to be a lot of movie discussion because, well, Naruto the movie is coming out on August 7th. We already talked about the spoiler. I already talked about Kishimoto interview. There's another interview that you should just check it out yourself because I am not talking about it here. It's rather more of a head scratching, for some cringeworthy. I didn't cringe because I lost my sense of care. So the movie is in fact coming out August 7th in the United States. It will start to roll out on October 2015. Now, speaking of movies, because we are ranking up these movies topics, right? We got the Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. That's what they're calling it. They ain't call it Resurrection of F or Revival of F. American, they just decided to cut down the F, sorry, not the F, the of, or whatever. So they call it Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. Now, I'll be honest with you. I just found this news right now that they did huge for the opening night. In fact, they did $1,967,626. That's right. Over $1 million. Almost to $2 million in the first night. Holy crap. I guess Americans really like Dragon Ball Z. Granted, I do too, but my God. Just how big is this movie? Well, more like how big is Dragon Ball Z? I understand it opened a lot of theaters, but it's the opening night. Opening night. We're not talking about, oh, this is a weekly one. This is an opening night. But you know what? This is what happens when you start showing a movie that's not far away from the first release. And that's why, people would like to say, what about Road to Ninja? Road to Ninja did a subpar on the box office. Well, first of all, it was independent-wise, so I can't really say it's the worst thing worse, but I digress. Second, the main thing is that movie came out to theaters 2 years after the first release. So with the last, it only came out 2 months later. And, it did good. It did 520s, I think. 520,000 is not bad, whatever. But with Dragon Ball Z, if I remember correctly, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods was shown in America and it made $2 million. And that took a week. But for Resurrection F, it took one night and it got over $1 million. It got almost $2 billion. I'm sorry. That's just insane. 2 million. I said 2 billion. What's wrong with me today? 2 million. Yeah, 2 million. Maybe I'm just thinking over 9,000 and mixing up things. Whatever. There's no good excuse. So yeah, that's insanely incredible. It's like, oh my God. And here's the thing. I will quote from the Funimation Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, I think that's how you say it, Michael DeBose. He stated this, and I quote, "Thrilled with the overwhelming positive fan response to the movie. We knew the opening would be very good, but its performance has exceeded everyone's expectations." End quote. And you know what? He's right. He is absolutely right. I didn't expect this to be almost $2 million one night. I can't stretch the truth enough. One night. That's look, the movie could be bad. I mean, a lot of movies can garner a good box office number. You look at Michael Bay's film. I mean, I'm not trying to be the greatest hater of Michael Bay's film, but my point is, any films could get any bad films, any films in general could get a lot of money. And they could be the worst of the worst, and they could still get money. Or, in case a lot of people likes to hate Adam Sandler movies, his movie still gets money. A good enough money to balance on his budgets. So it's like, hey, I gained more money back. Cool for me. So, yeah. I mean, I want to see Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. Definitely want to see it. Kind of regret not getting the tickets, to be honest with you. But I'll definitely see it when it first released to Blu-ray, DVD. Probably end up getting it myself because it is nostalgic. It may suck, I don't know, but I want to see it. So yeah, kudos. So wow, this is unbelievable. All right, maybe we should talk about the reviews because there was not much to say. Though there is that whole One Punch Man hype, and I already talked about this, but you gotta get ready for that hype. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be epic. I really don't say that much with the anime, but here it is. That's one of it. But yeah, if you haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, if you're really still a fan of it, and you want to go check it out yourself, feel free to do so. Maybe the ticket's still available. I don't know. Maybe you don't care about Dragon Ball Z. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. But holy hell, that box office opening is stunning. And I can't really lie. And I really can't just downplay that because that is, in fact, stunning. You know, I gotta admit, this chapter surprised me in terms of hype. And by that, I mean the fact that Fairy Tail actually managed to keep the hype. Yes, it's not like Totoro's arc, where they just derailed the hype the first battle they ever witnessed. I'm not talking about the one with the Laxus. I'm talking about with Natsu's, Lucy, and Wendy. But mainly Natsu. I understand the idea that time because he fighting against someone with weakness. You know, the whole, it's fire. I could eat fire. I'm lucky for me. And then you have Afro Happy, which makes it a little bit so, it just makes it not only derail the hype, but just make it so like, well, it's not that serious. But yeah, in this case, they kept it serious. They left the hype, not just for Agia, but the idea of Spring of 12 is actually a legitimate threat. And I'm applauding to that, because Mashima hasn't really done that in a long time, if not ever. I mean, yeah, he tried to do that with Ursa Sace, but, it was weird how they get beaten down, because they all teamworked, and then once they come back, they managed to beat them easily. Well, not too easy, but still, no harm to be done. It felt weird, because it felt like, how the hell did that happen, So in this case, they never really got the best of him. I mean, people would have thought Natsu, because of the fact that Natsu punched Agia, they thought that, maybe he's going to start fighting head on and Agia would be defeated here. But that's not the case. That's really not the case. Instead, Agia got back up and, he's like, oh, okay, this is good. I'm enjoying this. Now let's have fun. So Gray tried to freeze him, of course. But then he turned into that sand, and he tried to make everybody get trapped to their sand, so he could pretty much kill them one by one, if not all in one piece. Then that's when Makarov finally entered the battle and protected his new generation kids, because, that's how Makarov works. It feels like I've seen this so many times, but maybe it's only happened twice or 3 times. I could be wrong, but it's always something like moments of him trying to put his life on the line, and then we expect him to get killed. Maybe it will happen one day. Maybe it won't. I don't know what would be the best for the story wise. But then again, maybe it's just not. Unless that's the part of the game of Mushroom, but that would be cruel. I mean, it will be interesting, but it'd be cruel. So, but we'll see what happens. Either way, he's doing his usual thing, as in protecting his new generation. And pretty much take the kill for himself. And then that's where Agia is like, let's see you could really protect them. And that's where you see in the entire sands of death. I'm not sure what they call it. Let's just call it a sand tidal wave. I mean, that's what it pretty much is, a huge tsunami about to just not only just kill Makarov, but pretty much kill everybody who's in there. And, everybody's telling him, no, come on. It's like, don't do this. Don't put your life on the line. We could do this and save you. We could protect you. So no, and because of the sand thing, they pretty much out of luck. And Mess, this is a good thing somebody mentioned, but they, about the whole, hey, just teleport us there somewhere. but unfortunately he doesn't know where because it's pretty damn huge. So yeah, where exactly? But yeah, he's pretty much giving the idea that this hype of he's about to die, somebody gotta save him, and that's when it happens. And making a cool entrance, a cool return, Laxus finally made a return to the series, and he look the same as ever. I think he got a new haircut, which looks cooler. I suppose. I'm trying to remember if there's any difference, but either way, he looks cool as always. So we shouldn't even discuss it more about that. It's Laxus for Christ's sake. So yeah, he finally came back, and you see the other guys, Gajia, Levy, and the rest, and yeah, even Ichiya. I don't know why his face always sticks out like a really odd way. I don't know. Maybe it's the way how that beard or something. I don't know. You just look at him. Anyway, we pretty much get a small reunion, and it's a quick one. Everybody's like, they're like, oh, you have changed, Wendy, because all these characters, minus Gajio, well, mainly the Laxus people, they pretty much seeing them for the first time after a year, and the Wendy is the only one that's like not that much difference, which is sadly true. But in terms of power, of course she's stronger, but in terms of looks and everything else, no. But whatever, doesn't really matter. And yeah, I actually thought the same thing. Like, if Laxus and Gaja in there, why are they not sick, motion sick? But they didn't really explain it there. But I guess you could either wait for the explanation, or they would just say magic. But we'll see what happens. So Aja is of course not going to let them run away. He's still going to try to kill them. But then that's when, if you're going to make a cool entrance, you might as well make a cool attack with a huge bang, literally, because that's what Laxus pretty much done. And damn, he really got strong. It pretty much looked like I don't know, it's like somebody just dropped a nuke. And fortunately for Agio, even though he's saying himself he won't get killed from something like that, August shows up and pretty much put a barrier and protected him. So you get the idea that August is pretty threatening in terms of magic at the very least. It's like what I predicted from the past. He probably be like the wizard master or whatever. All magic based. Don't think it will be like a lot of attacking from his fists or whatever. It's gonna be like a lot of like barrier, I don't know, reflection. Some RPG talk. I'm thinking. We see Zerov on the castle, and he pretty much saying starting, as in war has been declared. So yes, I'm happy that they're not gonna take them out, just themselves. We're gonna have a full-fledged war. Most likely, we're gonna have a lot of remix with Sabretooth, Blue Pegasus and whatnot. We're gonna see a lot of remixes of teams. Maybe or maybe not. Maybe I'm getting too much hopes up. Maybe I am, and if I do, maybe I'm gonna head for a huge disappointment. But we'll see what happens. I'm trying not to get too much hopes up, but I am going to trust on Mashima for the fact that he actually kept these guys hype. And before the end of the chapter, of course, Makoto finally meets his family once again, and of course he's gonna be so teary because these guys are willing to go back for him and rescue him, and of course they want to protect him. That's their master, and maybe not just the master, but just like a father figure for these guys. So it's a small touching scene. Have him saying the best family one connects, fairy tale. And I don't know why. This little panel actually made me chuckle with the whole, I'm an outsider though. Like, just come in there, try to ruin the whole entire mood. So, then that was the end of the chapter. When you think about it, there's really not much to say in this chapter. It's just pretty much, Laxus made a return. Laxus does some cool stuff. And Makarov is back with the family and tearful. And Ishii just pretty much trying to ruin the mood. But yeah, you get the idea. But it was a neat chapter. I liked it. I liked the chapter. I enjoyed it. I like the fact they kept the hype. I like the fact that this war thing is actually happening. They're not trying to make it into a fairy tale could just handle by themselves. A lot of more mystery remains, gaining, especially with the Lumen Hysteria or Fairy Heart at this case. More of like, what is the case of that? How this war is going to go through. how strong the Spring and 12 are, because we only saw 2. I mean, we got to see the third one, but in a glimpse, because he does that barrier that literally leaves no scratch. And so yeah, we're going to see something interesting. Hopefully, hopefully we really next chapter title sounds like something that will be a very development on the idea of like we're gonna if they want war, we're gonna give them. So we're probably gonna see the console. We're probably gonna see more Fairy Tail, of course, and see what they're gonna plan on. But it should be interesting, and I'm really hoping Mashima knows what he's doing. So I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm gonna give you a good chance right here. I don't know why, but I really, really like this chapter so much. I really do. And it's not much happened. In terms of development, not a lot has happened, but it's just because it's so badass. I guess that's the reason. And, because of that, it was pretty good on its own. Yeah. And what I like about this chapter is this chapter has extra pages, more than usual, 17, 18, whatever the page number may be. And this one takes advantage of using one page of just one character or one moment or one scene just to make it impactful, which it worked. It worked here, and I felt it, and that's why it makes it so stronger. Sometimes you just can't use small panels in order to make an impact. Sometimes you need to make it either double page or one page or anything like that. I mean, you can still do it, but sometimes you really want to feel it. You want to know you want to know the feeling of that impact. You want to feel that impact. You want to feel like you're like connected, I guess. In certain case, like, when it comes to motion display, you can understand it and you feel it more powerful. It's like, that's why the old saying, picture worth 1,000 words. You want that. So this chapter is short to review, but let's get to it before you just have to read this chapter yourself in order to understand why it's so pretty good. Anyway, we're left off with Melodius just finally got his power back, and he almost sounded like he's turned evil or turned dark. And Gil and Hauser's like, oh crap, what happened? He sounds like he just changed. And then Melodius pretty much trolled him. He's like, I'm just kidding. And he's like, oh, okay, whew, he's still normal. He's still the same. But King realized, holy crap, his power is not the same. He's changed a lot in terms of power. And you want to know how to make sure how to let the people know how powerful he is? How about this? Teleport where the 10 Commandments are and say, hey. And yeah, that's pretty much suicidal. Not only that, but what Merlin described the teleportation power, that she can't teleport him where Galen is at, because that's where of course Galen is with the entire 10 Commandments. The problem is, once you teleport, you gotta wait 10 seconds and then you go teleport back. So he has 10 seconds. And he's like, okay, that's cool. Just fire away then. And because he just want to make a normal greeting. And that's where he went to the teleport. And then you just see the entire 10 Commandments saying, not saying, but like, see Melodius, and Melodius just catches like, hey. So that's where the 10 second begins. And my God, it was so awesome. But, the funny thing is, of course, in this 10 second, he is using the Dragon Ball Z logic. These 10 seconds can be a minute. I mean, maybe I could understand the idea if the Melodius beat the crap out of him in a very fast way. But when it comes to talking, you telling me they're talking super fast? Like, I don't want to finish him. Like, you telling me that's how they talk? Even when I say that, that's already like more than 2 seconds. But whatever. It's it's fiction. Whatever. Suspend your disbelief in this case. But yes, there's a 10 second count, and then once it hits after 9, just see the impact of Melodius just punch the crap out of Galen, especially all this all this, the whole beatdown they have early on, or past chapters, now is pretty much a payback. Meliodas just beat the hell out of him. Each page by page, you just see him just beat him up, just Dragon Ball Z the hell out of him. Yeah, I'm gonna say that, but let me just distinct itself, because this is obviously his own show, his own series. But anyway, yeah, you get the idea. He just beat the hell out of him. You see Meliodas just look so pissed at the same time, and Galen's like, "What the hell? How much did you just change?" And he tried to use his judgment attack, chaotic judgment, no touch. Meliodas still a spear, and it's already only 8 seconds. Yeah, pretty much between 9 and 8, he did so much beatdown, and then more beatdown comes in, just kicked him. It just feels if he just literally demolished him, and jeez, man, you just have to see, or that whatever the case may be. I think it's blood gushing out from his mouth, and that's when he's like, okay, I don't get how Meliodas could maintain that power, and this is where they pretty much say that Meliodas didn't turn down the emotion. He controlled it perfectly. And I did like that page where you can see Meliodas, where he has a complete control of his wrath, and instead of like anger that you over consume yourself into the point that you don't know what you're doing and who you are. Instead, you pretty much got the best of it, and you can see Meliodas is pretty pissed off, but at the same time, he's not consumed by anger. Rather, he acknowledged it, and he is showing it still. So, but I just like that page, because you could really see that how much pissed he really is. Yet at the same time, he's not letting it get the best of him, and Galen still want to fight on and just get a hell of a beat down from one sword, just devastating. A lot of one-page use, but man, it was worth it in this case. And just Meliodas just pretty much beat the hell out of him. Then he tells them, okay, he pretty much letting them know the 7 deadly sin is going to be the winner, and you're all gonna get screwed. And it give you this small hint of Meliodas and Zeldris. They have some, of course, they have some conflicting moments. The something that happens in the past. Of course, we're gonna find out soon. But again, more teases. And right before Meliodas disappeared, he's letting him know they weren't talking. It was a warning from him, and he disappeared. He goes back. Galen just war cries the fact that he really got beaten up so badly. That's how the chapter ends. But again, you got to see the chapter yourself. It was pretty damn cool to watch. Yeah, I actually went back so many times because I just like how it's displayed, and the art itself is really good. So seeing the art being displayed with many one pages, many double sided pages, it's just so damn good. I really like this whole beatdown. I really like how Meliodas pretty much got his payback for everyone. It just wants. I understand he's just like really overpowered now, but I guess that is the point of the fact that he got his demon power, so you might as well showcase that. I don't know if he will lose his control again. It's possible. I don't know if he knows that Frendrin is there, but maybe we just have to wait more time. So other than that, yeah, pretty badass chapter. When it's all said and done, definitely should check it out. It's really nicely art display, and it's just like every page of it. That last page is only asking for nothing but bad news. In fact, everything is becoming more and more bad for the Tsukiyami family at the very least. But either way, this does create more and more interesting aspect of this arc. Whatever the time it will unfold, the action, the explosive, the climax of the entire arc, which really is building up a lot. So just trying to act like, this is a 10 episode season, live action, high profile channel, and you're pretty much watching maybe episode 3 or 4. So yeah, that's the case because we got more build up, but a lot of interesting aspect, and definitely the ending that really makes it seem like that's just only asking for the worst. And there's still a lot of good characterization in this chapter as well. You get more insight of the characters, which I truly enjoy. So anyway, let's get to the whole review itself. Beginning again, we have the entire the Kojima part, because remember, this guy actually put a freaking video online, no less, into the website, and let the world know, or pretty much the main target, the Tsukiyama family, because of the Operation Rose, let them know that they didn't mean business. If they want to save their friends, their comrades, they had to come to that place and come face himself. And thankfully, this series actually acknowledged the idea that, you upload a video that everybody could see. So, it's not like, I need a private password. I gotta see it myself. Let's see. Kanaki is alive. And there you go. I see the video. Thankfully, that's not the case. And yeah, that it goes to show you, you put in that video, really give you that bad imagery. But to make it more worse, Kojima actually doesn't really give a crap. Doesn't even care about the fact that his life is going to be jeopardy, because he might asking for the worst. Having the entire family just come one on whatever the family number is, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care how he's gonna get used. He doesn't care if he gets killed. He doesn't care. So long he gets his plan done, so long he gets his job done, that's all he cares about. If he dies, well, tough break. So, and kind of like, kind of pretty much uses imagery like, it doesn't really care. Look at my image. It's pretty. It's such an ugly body. I already know that. Maybe if I have something like your face, your pretty face, whatever, then maybe I'll reconsider. But whatever. Oh well, I'll see you around. But if I'm kicked out of the team, I'll still see you around. This guy, again, when it comes to dangerous men or maniac men, nothing could be more than a person that doesn't really care about any consequences. And of course, you see the reaction of the people, and it felt like Ure pretty much coming down there and pretty much, I don't know, I guess you could say, take a shot at the fans. Well, not fans like his fans, but maybe like the rowdy, more like the YouTube comments. Because, sometimes the YouTube comments can be really immature or anything like that. So it felt like that was a jab to them, I guess you could say. Not necessarily to the fans, but it's like a jab. It kind of reminded me of One Punch Man with that jab, with like, who cares about you, you bald guy? You suck. Nobody likes you. And it's like, boy, these guys need a hobby. So that's pretty much, this is pretty much Tokyo Ghoul style of taking a jab on those. Like, those try those to enjoy the shitty, useless lives you all have. So, yeah, take a good shot. Good job, Ishida. So, going again, we see more reactions from the other guys. The interesting one is the whole Shirazu and Sasaki, when they were talking about like the whole method, the video. It's like, I can't believe they would do that. It's just so wrong. And it's funny because Sasaki, of course, he has the mind of actually caring about the ghoul. We all saw that from the Hinami thing. So he actually being very sentimental. And Shirazu actually comment back at it, which is different, because maybe back then, maybe if he didn't have this conflicting issues with the idea that ghouls and humans, the fact that ghouls can be like human, or the fact they are human, well, you know what I mean. They're not treated as monsters. They have no lives, they have no feelings, they have no souls, they don't go heaven. The idea of that. But instead, Shirazu actually comment back and say oh, that is sad, but aren't we going to kill them in the end? Like, it's pretty much saying like, we're still gonna end up killing them. What's the point? What's the point of being sentimental? That's what human does. Kill Ghoul. So, whatever. That was interesting. And I'm very interested to see how much they're going to go, how much of the development Kirazu is going to have in this arc. Because clearly he's really having a lot of more developmental time in this in the arc itself, with the whole, he got the Nutcracker Quinque now, and he's starting to having a whole PTSD issues that's coming in, and of course we're going to see more of the other guys, especially how the end of the chapter went down, but we get to that when we do. So we got to see Shu, and wondering how bad does he look. Surprisingly, he doesn't look bad anymore. He looks good, or at least better than the last time, because he looks healthier. Well, they did say he starts to eat again. He starts to care about his health again, but he does seem to be hell-bent on the one thing, and one thing is get Sasaki, or rather Kaneki, back. So, but, I do gratitude the fact that Shu actually does show some sentimental to his people. He gratitude them for, having them try to harvest food for him. It's not, it's understandable. He understands that, but it's just pretty sad that the situation didn't went the way it did, especially the fact that, Eliza, she's dramatized the fact that, I'm trying to remember the other guy's name. Just give me a sec. Oh, I remember. It was, Yumas. But, yeah. So, I did like the fact that he actually showed the gratitude to his family. I mean, yes, it's his family, but the idea is you would expect to him only think about Kaneki. But I guess you could say his main priority is Kaneki, but that doesn't mean he really erased the idea of his family. He wants to bring that smile back, Eliza's smile back, which is nice of him. I like this guy. I always liked this character, and I always felt so bad when I saw the time when he lost himself because Kaneki was about to go to a suicide mission, which almost pretty much came true. And, but yeah, at the very least, seeing Shu back to normal, or much better than the last chapter, definitely much better than the last chapter, or let alone the entire chapters that has him in this entire arc so far, before this time, is way better. Is a way better progress, as we could say. So going back to the whole Kaneki, he started talking to Kanai about this whole Kaneki thing. Like, oh, he's alive. I'm so happy. The only problem is he doesn't remember. He doesn't remember anything. But maybe because I'm around, he will remember everything. I will pledge myself to make him remember. It will be all right. Everything is possible because he will be the one to do it. So yeah, at least now she was going back to normal, and she was still showing him his old self of him and Kaneki connection. So yeah, it sounds good, but boy, does it ask for trouble. Especially he's putting himself more to the picture to Sasaki and the CCG, which only gonna make everybody get suspicious. Maybe not now, but in hindsight, I guess you could say. But yeah, Kanai, I guess he's supposed to be happy because the fact that he is back to normal, but it's just, again, Shu is putting himself in danger by showing to a CCG investigator, the Doves, that he's there. He's in the picture, and whenever the time be like, oh man, this Shu guy is crazy. Wait a minute, I know that guy. We got to put him in the wanted list. He is the gourmet guy. That would have been way too much problem. So now we have Kanai going back with Horichi, which they were talking about like in the whole. Okay, so now he's back to normal. You got to give him the second picture, and Chi has to run away. For what reason? Well, we get to that soon too. And the good part of the chapter, well, actually, a lot of part of the chapter is good, but more of the top three highlights is this part with whole Shu and Sasaki have a conversation after so long. And yes, he does acknowledge the fact that his hair is turning black again. Man, I never noticed. It really turned dark. It really turned black. Very consistent timing on Ishida. It really shows you that it went all black. There's still whites, but I didn't even notice that. So, oops. I like this detail. I really, really, really appreciate this detail. I mean, I know it was growing black back then, like the early chapters, but I didn't think it was that black in this one. I never noticed it till now. Well, I'll be damned. But yeah, I like that. I like that attention detail. And, Shu is trying to make it into the conversation that we remember from the first series, the whole Takasuki, the artist herself, if she's a big fan. And I actually like this part because it tells you the difference between Kanaki and Sasaki, the different train of thought. Where, with Kanaki, he's a big fan of Takasuki. He's Ito, as you recall. He's a big fan of her. He's a big fan of the writing. He likes to talk about the writing, the protagonist, the story, the format, the whole thing. He's a big fan. With Sasaki, he's like, I guess the book is, some of them, they were okay, I guess, but it seems pretty dark or heartbreaking. And, actually, Sasaki didn't focus on the story or didn't focus on the writing, rather focus on the author herself, which I find it interesting to find a way to have her to give us the idea of Ito, pretty much a person that seems like pretty much sucked into the world of despair and no hope for anyone. He given that train of thought, and I guess you could say that's like one way to describe a character more so than describing the story. So it seems like Sasaki. So pretty much you get the idea Sasaki's not a big fan of her work because. Again, he gives you the idea connection of Takasuki or Ito in this case. You get the idea of that her books is actually more of depressing story as he's saying. So at least we get the better idea of what the story is really told. I mean, we get some of the idea, like some of the main characters, some of the story plot. It always seems like so damn, dark, very dark. But in here we get the idea like, maybe he's right. Maybe these books are just too much. Probably because the fact the author herself is really messed up. So I thought that was one clever way to do it. But unfortunately for Shu, that's not what he wants to hear. He's like, what the hell he's talking about? Why he's talking this way? It's supposed to be about this book. He's supposed to be a big fan. He's supposed to be like, oh, I love that book. What happened to those days? So he was getting a little bit frustrated that the fact that he's not talking like Kanaki, he's talking to like an entirely different person. And then he's like, come on, what the hell are you talking about? I got to stay calm. It's cool. He will remember. So unfortunately for him, the fact that Sasaki has his squad, or his children's, as you want to say it, yeah, there's more disturbance, quote unquote, for Shu to get any closer to Sasaki. Though I must admit, it's kind of funny seeing Psycho, which, by the way, I had to think to that Tumblr post. The Psycho is actually wholly in character from anime, or rather the protagonist, or rather the actual anime itself. So, as the description to say, you got a nerd that's carrying a little nerd. Good job. I guess Ishida is a big fan. Anyway. So unfortunately for Shu, again he has children's, not like a, well, yeah, for lack of a better word, let's go with that. He's a father, so he got to go back to work, and Shu's like, damn, it didn't work. Kanai is pretty much telling him, yeah, let's go, it's not gonna work. And of course Shu is very persistent. He stalks him, he sees him in different time. He sees him when he's with Ure. He sees him when he's Shirazu. He sees him with his Psycho. See him with Masuki. See him with the entire family. The entire Q squad. So, yeah. It's not looking good, Shu. And, Shu is pretty much so hurt to see he called them midgets. I don't know why that made me laugh. I mean, of course, I don't laugh in the normal ways to say it, but it's just the fact that we know they're kids, and for whatever reason, he just called them the midgets. I was like, huh, what a weird way to put them up, but okay. So I don't know. Yeah, I apologize if I offend somebody with that, but this is where it is kind of shows the second picture, and that's the missing picture of Kanaki, and he get the idea that that was Hori isn't that's the person that does the picture taking, so it was pretty easy to connect. And I guess this is where this is where they meet up in the rooftop, and pretty much you see like Shu seems like so struggle, that fact that he can't get close to Sasaki. Kanaki can't do anything about it. It's like time has moved on, and I know he wants to get his memory back. He's just only putting himself in danger, because of course he's literally showing himself so many times. He's putting himself right in front of the CCG investigator. If Sasaki doesn't remember, and then he acts like to his duty, then he's gonna be like, he's a wanted man, he's a ghoul, he's gonna kill him, he's going after him, they all going after him, they're going after his family, because if you connect one down, you will connect everything. And that's where Chi pretty much tell him, can you really die for some ingredients? Pretty much saying like, you really going to die for just this thing? Are you really gonna go for this? Because it is suicidal. Of course it's suicidal. This time has changed. Sasaki could have his memory back, yes, but the way he's doing it is suicidal. It's insane. So it seems like Shu, it seems like I don't know. I guess he's in a train of thought, like how everybody else are, and if they even know if Kanaki is alive. I wonder if Shu knows Ri. I kind of hope he does, so it'll be a nice drop in. See Yomo, Uda, Toka. I know everybody will be like, with Toka. Actually, I would. My mic would too, because it just fell off for a second. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, but maybe that will happen. I don't know what's the case may be for Shu, but it seems like he's gonna get some idea. Or maybe he's just really lost in mind, because the fact that he really can't get close to Sasaki. Maybe he's going to go to Ri, if he knows Ri, just to get some ideas or get some help. Because right now he seems like he lost hope, because the situation really, really, really can't get him through, and really just doesn't really help him a lot. And this is where we get to see more Chi on her situation. The fact that she has actually taken picture of the ghouls hunting that's actually belonged to the CCG investigator, and she pretty much hacked it. I knew that was the case, but boy, she went through hell of a trouble just for this sake. So yeah, you could clearly see the Tsukiyama family, as well as Chi, pretty much anyone who is associated with Shu and the family, are really putting themselves in a huge crisis and putting themselves in a huge danger, to the point that it could still lead to the entire wipeout of the family itself. So she's really taking a risk, and she's only human. She's not even a ghoul. So, jeez, it's insane. But that's how much they really want to sacrifice in order for Shu to get his wish. And this is where I think this is a horrible idea, but I know it was the old saying, desperate times calls for desperate measure, but this is just going to lead to such a disaster. And Kanai pretty much remembered what Shu said about the whole midgets, that's what they're calling them, that he can't be alone with Kanaki. So the only thing to do is to get rid of them. And even though they didn't say it, you pretty much get the idea that is the case. However, who's going to take that job? And that's where the big problem comes in. He goes to the Ogiri. That's right, Ogiri. Why? I know they can get their hands dirty. I know they want jobs. They can get money ever since they lose Big Mama. I said Big Mama, Big Madam, same thing. Ever since they lost Madam, they lost any connections to get some jobs. Kanai is, he has a load of money. Just the idea they asking for Ogiri to do this work is only gonna bring so much trouble. If they get caught by CCG investigator, they could get the connection. They could have the Sukiyama family wiped out. This is only asking for bad things. I don't even know who's these two Ogiri members. Could be an interesting part of it, actually. It's actually an interesting part. Maybe it's a brand new characters, or maybe it's the old returning characters, but who knows? But the idea is he's gonna give him the wish that Kanai's giving Shu the wish he wants, and that is to have time with Kanaki as the midgets are not there. And by not there, I mean killed. So that's the end of the chapter. I don't know. I heard we're not getting any chapter. I could be wrong, and I pray I'm wrong. So we'll see what happens. But again, more interesting aspect comes in, more interesting development, nice insight of the characters, especially with Shu and Sasaki. Different approach on Ito works. And of course, the cliffhanger just only asking for trouble, way more trouble than it needs to be. Chi's already in a big trouble. Now they already know her identity and everything else. But all this for Shu, right? So let's see what happens. Oh boy. And that would do it for today's episode. 2 million? It's almost 2 million. I can't even comprehend that. Maybe because I'm not used to the anime box office coming in America State being so much like that. In fact, I think that almost did it surpass Pokemon for opening day? No way. But it's been a while. And they only showcase that Dragon Ball Z popularity in America is still stronger than ever. Strong as ever. Don't know what to say. I mean, it's popular all around the world, but America, if you get to America State, you're pretty much settled for life. Especially with the fact that when Dragon Ball Super got announced, everybody was trending worldwide. That never happened to a lot of series. Not anything. Not even the current popular series. Yeah. Subscribe to my channel. Continue to support me. Spread the words about my channel, of course. And I'll see you next time for more Sparda's World Podcast. Almost 2 million.